I just have a sense of excitement about this one. Multifold. There are certain cultures which I have associations, because the only thing that you see coming out of the culture is like chupacabra, skinwalkers, like alien sightings, like hardcore Catholic, the gangs. I mean, it is. I am so happy. I am so proud that I have allowed myself to be introduced and to find value. It just feels good. It's exciting to me. So, the gentleman, the video, I'm going to let him cover the topic, the legalities of it, because he does a good job. I don't need to add to it. I'm eager to add, to invite people in from their perspective so that they can relate and understand the significance of what he's saying, and how many people join gangs just to be initiated into something. The skull and crossbones. If this is the only form, we have a need for this. When I was growing up, the Catholic Church meant nothing to me but Christmas Eve Mass, the end of a very short dead-end road in Waterbury, Connecticut. The old part, Holy Land on top of the mountain. It's a miniature reconstruction of the Holy Land in Israel, of Jerusalem, that you can walk through. The houses and the buildings are very small, but it's a reconstruction of Jerusalem in the time of Yahusha, presumably. And the end of the road, a very old stone Catholic church. And anybody who's done any research into the mud flood and the Tartarians, I'm not saying that is 100% correct assumption, precise history. I'm just saying what they have found is these old structures, they might be a lot older than we were told. They were founded because they done founded them. They founded them. Yeah. They happened into this land and they found these structures. And go do the research, put in Tartarian. That's a whole rabbit hole. I'm not getting into this here. My point is the windows, the stained glass windows, that it's been found that these were created with sound resonance. So these old Catholic churches, Christmas Eve, it was midnight Mass, Christmas Eve. I know, I am not saying we should go do this. I'm saying, in my experience, just the being in that sound resonance. The priest would come down the aisle in all his garb, which I never noticed. I never looked at. I didn't care. I was absorbing the building, the atmosphere. The candles are lit, very small, congregation crowded in. And he'd go down the aisle with the incense holder, the burner. It's just gorgeous things. I mean, come on. The artwork, the handiwork, the manufacturing of these things is incredible. So it's at the end of the stick, and he does the waving and spreading the incense over the congregation and stuff. And there's just something about that richness of ritual, of tradition. Your average Western world does not have, and that's probably why people stick to the Catholic Church, because it is so powerful. That's why people turn, first to paganism, maybe a little local thing, coming out in the woods, doing a little ritual. It's the ritual. That's what I have a hard time letting go of smoking, because I have a ritual. When I still had divided personalities, ritual was how I kept, no matter which personality shift was coming in, they all knew the how to roll a smoke routine. If I needed to breathe, if I was integrating personalities, both those parts that needed integrating could do the ritual of rolling the cigarette and smoking the cigarette together. So it was a grounding, a touch base, a familiarity that all had in common and so could come together around. I know me. I might be able to get a load of you. Give me a chance. You don't know. So, yeah, he goes into the legalities. What people don't always understand coming out of the Christian culture is, Israelites, the Hebrews, they were a nomadic tribe. They were shepherds. They were farmers. Lived according to the seasons. There were no city folk. Tribal tradition. The women go, red tent, stay away from the men that time of the month. And all of us, and this is why we have a yearning, if you're from a Celtic background, you're Irish, you're Scottish, you have a longing for that. And this is why. And the Native Americans have a longing and need for their culture. And this is why. Initiation. Rites of passage. These are important. So, for those unfamiliar with such things, I'm going to share my experience of such things and the information that I have gathered as I've gleaned from all the fields of all the tribes of mankind. So, the Aboriginal to the Americas, as far as we understand, that's what they are. The rites of passage, like kids hit puberty and they go, the rites of passage. The girls had their thing. There was the Red Lodge. The women, they don't talk too much of it. But when this girl goes through this rite of passage and she takes on the right to identify herself as a woman, she knows her spiritual role. She knows her role as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, as a member of the tribe. She can do and fulfill all her responsibilities. She graduates into womanhood, into an adult member who has a voice around the fire, the community fire, the council fire. That's the word I was looking for, the council fire. For a boy, he had to go, I don't know if he was allowed to wear even a loincloth, but either with or without even a knife, go into the woods, be able to fend for himself and get himself a vision. If you did not have some sort of vision given to you, it's not your time to progress into manhood. You do not yet have a seat around the council fire. And if you are a grown adult and you haven't had any interaction with spirit, you haven't had visions, you aren't translating dreams, you aren't bringing forth inspired wisdom for your tribe, then if you're older and you never you're like not even human. You have no seat around the council fire. You know what I mean? And so that's why, like, a lot of cultures, y'all aren't even human. But you aren't. This is where they come. You are subhuman. This is where this attitude comes. You think, oh, those people, because they're from that nationality or they have that colored skin, like, they're not even human. Those red devils or those black demons, or dude, you're white, not even human. You're so dead and not human, you ain't even got color to your skin. Joke on that. I mean, I'm not fostering the hatred. I'm just saying, get your head out your butt. Get your head out your butt, because that's where it is. If you're diminishing everybody else around you, your head up your butt. If you are racist in any way, your head up your butt, and you ain't even human yourself. Okay, we're past that. So, I understood this. Again, I thought Torah was just for Israelites, for Jews. Why would I read it? It wouldn't apply to me. I'm not Jewish. Not for me. I know what's for me and what's not. I used to think. Now I'm learning. The Torah belongs to all of us. Covenant. Adam and Eve. Cain and Abel. They sacrificed to Yahuwah. Certain ones at certain times. Then the people started to call upon the name of Yahuwah, which was El Shaddai at that time, because they knew the creation story. They knew what was what. I gotta quick stir my food. I'm remembering to take time out to eat. Isn't that cool? Aren't you proud of me? Okay, so my question, how do I introduce initiation, rites of passage, for my children? I have no tribal culture that I'm aware of to go back to. This is before I got into the Torah, before I understood, dang, Noah, we're all descendants of Noah. He knew Torah. He knew of the Shabbat. That was in heaven even before Adam and Eve were created. That was practiced in the Garden of Eden. That was the time of Enoch. Everybody knew it. All the nations knew it. All of them. And Noah came off the ark. No temple. No tabernacle. He just knew where to put it. You get a feel for these things. You do. You're intuitive. You're in tune with God's Spirit. You just get the feeling, And he makes a sacrifice. And, Yahuwah relents. And he says, I'm renewing my covenant with mankind. And with the animals. Notice that. And, I will never again flood the earth, destroying all life on it, and I'm lifting the curse off the ground. You will be able to farm, you will be able to till, the earth will grow food for you. And according to Native American tradition, wherever people walk frequently with bare feet, or the leather sandals where the feet and everything, if you sweat, it sweats through, and it touches the ground reads you and your needs, and it starts growing up food along those pathways. And I've seen that happen twice. Ask me about it. Go watch other videos. I mean, in quite the miraculous way. It was just so obviously to me, there it was. The food's growing exactly what my body needs. The precise medicine that I never would have recognized if I wasn't doing the experiment. So, how do I do this? I didn't want to turn to paganism. What is it called? The witches now. There's a real soft core Wiccan. I didn't want to do Wiccan. Which wick just means it comes from something's wick. There's still life to it. I love the etymology of words. That's how I come to know so much, because I know to look up the etymology of a word. Not the definition, not the meaning, the etymology of a word. And it's going to take you far, far deeper. Just like getting to know Jewish people, Jewish tradition, you get a lot more insight and knowledge about, the scripture, the Torah, and therefore the New Testament, Revelation, Yahusha, all of it. All of it. You got to dig deep. You got to go. You got to look. You got to find. So, how do I do this? I just started. My daughter was easy to recognize. She starts to menstruate, have a period party. That's a thing nowadays. Look it up, period party. How do I do that? Shoot, they name their periods and everything. They give them human names. It's a thing. It's a thing. Go find it. So that was but I want to do more. I want to make them look, because it causes them to stop and pause and realize significance of experiences in their life. meaning, give them a sense of accomplishment, of having achieved something, of growing. And like with my son, he is one of those old style tricycles, the red ones, and like radio flyer, and the metal handlebars. Everything's like steel. Before everything was all safety and padded for the kids. And dang, if he didn't trip and just chipped his front tooth. I was like, this is a thing. Like, this is impacting this child. This is serious. So I did a rite of passage for him. I took a doorway, hung like some sheer lacy curtains there, had to set up a candle on a little table on the other side, little candle over here, and I said, Bub, you've chipped your tooth. That's a mark. It's to remind you, life comes with pain, but you are brave. You are strong. You are talented on wheels. I mean, that boy, he'd ride his skateboard at like 2-3 years old, and people would stop and eat every day, eat lunch, watching him. Well, I was flying a sign on the corner, like begging for money, 1 day a week, so I could go spend the rest of the week out at the farmhouse and be isolated. But he would work that thing, and people would just sit there and watch him. They would purposely the delivery driver take his lunch break to watch that boy on wheels. So I gave it meaning. I gave that chipped tooth significance. And so he took the lit candle. This is the archway. This is your passage. You are passing out of childhood into being a young man. Go light that candle. Blow out the child candle. Give that to me. And you carry your candle. Because you are now a young man. And I found a way. Maybe it's nothing I'll ever do again, because I'll have Torah guidance, and they got bar mitzvahs and bet mitzvahs, I think they're called. I haven't looked too much into that. I don't have young people. I'm not going to have to go through, like, right now. Not an issue. There's just so much to occupy me with anyways. So, rites of passage, initiation. Now we can look into the legalities, who gets to do these things. Keep in mind, I'm not Jewish. I don't know if you are. You would know better than I do whether or not you should be doing something. I'm a wild child. I'm a descendant of Noah. Noah had laws. It's a thing. Look it up. I don't know if I'm under them. Like, I don't need to argue that right now. Like, but it gives you a sense of there are people who can be serving Yahuwah, offering, wave offerings of bread and wheat and stuff like that on an altar that has nothing. They haven't gone through, the rabbis. They haven't gone through the Levitical or Aaronic, the tribes, I think it's called Aaronic. Aaron. Blessed, like, they don't have one of them there. And that could be okay with Yahuwah. I'm not feeling any repulsion towards that. You gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, and that reminds me, I'm sitting here like, good, I'm just going to be, the mundane. I'm not going to have any, I'm not of the elite with all these responsibilities. I don't have to know about legalities. And, I haven't been anointed. I don't feel anointed. And I made a video. You'll probably find it if you go through them, where they're describing the anointing the blood on the right ear with the sand, and I think there's a foot. I haven't been anointed, so nobody done poured oil on my head. I don't gotta worry about doing, like, that's why I didn't worry about sacrifices and all that. Like, I don't gotta worry about that. I just gotta wait for a priest to come along and tell me where, what, how, and when, And then wouldn't you know it, I happens across the video, and the man he shares some information. I'm like, yeah, this is good. All right. And I always pause when people are about to pray. I'm like, whose name are they praying in? What name am I going to hear? I'm ready to pause. Like, got my hand on the mouse. Start your prayer. I don't know if I'm going to listen to it. I would not have anybody pray over me if I am not approved, if I do not know who they're praying to. So, he says it. He says, now, I am of the line of Aaron. And being of the line of Aaron, it is my responsibility to put God's name on this congregation before me. I'm like, and then he just says the words. I'm like, oh man, I gotta live up to it. Like, or maybe I don't know. There might be a lot of edges. No, I can't because I felt something. It was just there's your answer, honey. You weren't going to do nothing. You didn't believe you were anything special because you didn't have any put any kind of anointing or any kind of initiation or anything on you. Well, someone from the line of Aaron just put God's name on you. El Shaddai, Elohai. Oh, but I am learning different names for God and what they mean, because I don't utter anything unless I understand it. It's a thing with me. So, hey, maybe somebody else. Quick thing before I put the link down. Okay. What's wrong with that? So, got good video. The laws. Watch it. And the only thing that I think he could review and go back over is he didn't understand the order of Melchizedek, which is understandable because the Jewish people aren't going to talk about it and the Christians ain't got it right. And he just needed information. He didn't have necessarily that part wrong. But yeah, the background and what it meant and why it was associated with Yahusha's name and how Yahusha could be associated with that. And also, he says, because of these legalities, this initiation stuff, that Yahusha didn't go through that, so he didn't qualify as a priest on earth. Yes, he did. Yes. Whether it's through the line of Aaron or through the line of Levi, he was the firstborn. His mother came from the priestly tribe. One of those tribes. I'm not going to say anything because I'm not sure which one. But Zechariah went during his time as priest, So, like, John the Baptizer was a Nazarite. He was devoted. The firstborn son gets devoted to the priesthood. And, so, when it says Joseph, people think that it's inconsistent. Like, he's not from the line of Joseph. God was his father. His mother was Mary. What are you talking about? He can't claim that line. Yes, he can. Miriam's father's name was Joseph. From the priest tribe. And he's the firstborn son. Of course he would be devoted. I'm sorry. But people don't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't make an issue of it either. But there you go. So, when you go down, watch this video. It's point on. Good teacher. Good man. Good sharing. I appreciate it. It has value to me. I've never been into legalities. And I'm sure if you've seen any of my other videos, you kind of know. Well, I've been abused using the court system. I haven't specifically told about how, an illegal order, the local general attorney's office came and said, look, they're trying to do this from Maine, but we're not going to support it. Then all of a sudden, the sperm donor shows up after not wanting anything to do with this kid, he shows up with police officers that tell me, I'm going to knock you down and rip those kids off your legs, and all three of you are going to be hurt in the process if you don't convince them to get into that car right now. Try not to cry. Don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. But see, your legalities, legal language, so do you see why this might be, abuser? I'm hiding from an abuser. I'm safe. No, he knew where I last was. He started scoping out, lying to all the homeless people. She's a writer. Most people who, none of the homeless people there knew. But he would assume that's what people would learn about me, that I write. I write well. I write a lot. I've been published. Nothing notable now. But still valuable. Just not notable now. Maybe a long time ago. And so he would tell all the homeless people, I'm looking for so-and-so. She's a writer. I was published in the local newspaper down there. So, yes, they would have known. And he had a gig for me. Could they tell him where I was? And somebody's like, oh, she hangs out down there. And they all know each other. And so he called the police and had them do a wellness check. So I have a cop roll up on me while I'm on the corner with my two kids, because it's the only day of the week they can find me, because the rest of the time I'm hidey away. And so he takes a picture of us, gives it to the guy. I found her on this corner. Guy makes friends, cozies up, acts like he's interested with the local cashier, and while he's, chumming her up for a reason to be there so long, watching for me to go, he finds where I go back to, and I'm calling the sheriffs, because I'm like, dude broke into the house, he's standing over me, he's been told he's not allowed on the property. Well, he needs to be told once. I said he has been told by message he's not allowed on the property. Like, well, we're coming down there because he called us too. So I got the sheriffs on the phone. They're coming. The city police are at the end of the driveway because they can't come on the property because it's outside the city line. But there's a bunch of cops down there, and what they brought with them was a federal child abduction unit. So you see why I do not have an appreciation for legalities. Legal language is not my thing. I leave it up to him. I respect what he says. I'm going to double check it. I'm going to make sure. You give me a law, and my mind will grasp it. And I will tell you exactly what is going on in that language and how they're going to play you with it. Oh, it is not for lack of sharpness of mind in this department. I see. I got eyes to see. I know. It doesn't do me any good, because people who rely on that cannot be trusted. That's what I've come to. But I could see how the correct law, translated, interpretations up to God, translated appropriately, a man does a research, I will respect that man. I will investigate what he's offering. I will give him a chance, and I will respect him for getting into it, because that is complicated stuff. I would think very highly of him. And so I put the link to his video down below. So, names of God. I think this is fun. I love it. Because instead of just saying, oh Lord, any creature, any spirit, any person who believes that they are a Lord can be listening in on your prayer and siphon off and suck all that emotional energy. It's their right. You calling upon a God, you better have an image and a firm knowing of exactly who, because otherwise it's like that Jesus thing. One demon's been assigned to suck up all the energy sent towards that name, and then brings it before God and says, I'll take that, that one's sincere, that one's this. You go teach those people I just took that from. The rest, it's yours. Send it to the devil. Don't say you weren't warned. Okay, so when they say Yahuwah Rapha, Rapha is healer. So you're calling on the healer aspects. That's what you're trying to evoke, praying for, invoking the qualities of God. Because you can do that. If you call me by certain names, certain titles, you're immediately invoking and evoking an aspect of my personality. If it's a child asking for something, it's more the motherly, nurturing aspects, nuances of my personality that are going to come out. I no longer have split personality things. They're pretty much unified. Yeah. Yeah. There may be some I just don't invoke that often because, they're powerful. So it's just that way, You say, "Excuse me, ma'am." I'll say, "Yes, how can I help you?" If you come, "Oh, hey," and you use part of my first name, I'll be like, "You don't know me yet." Nobody in my entire life has called me that except for people who are looking to act familiar with me and are not. But if you use, my first name, or you use Ms. Borda, I'd be like, "Ms. Crystal, like, what's up?" So it's the same way with Yahuwah. Which set of qualities are you wanting to invite to be enacted upon you? So Rapha is healer. El Shaddai, the one who commanded the world creation, so it had to happen within the creator, within source, because there's nothing beyond it. It's formless, endless, boundless, nothing but. So room had to be created within, and it was source. That one, El Shaddai, Yahuwah, Elohai, I am that I am, my God. El Shaddai, the one who commanded it to stop. If you want Yahuwah to stop something, El Shaddai is the name. It's going too far. I'm being pulled too fast. Boundaries are being crossed. That would be an aspect. That would be the characteristic part that you're wanting to have acted upon you and in your experience. Elohai means my God. Eloheka means your God. And this one I just wrote down today because I had been wondering about it, so I researched it. The Lord of Hosts or armies. So if you're looking like, all right, I'm responsible for all these people, we got a job to do. This is a title, a character, a part of, one of God's characteristics that you could call upon. I like that better. One of his characteristics. I have multiple characteristics. You have multiple characteristics. My dog has multiple characteristics. She's a characteristicer, I'm telling you. Like I'm not. So I'm going to try to say it right. I'll spell it for you. It's Tetzavah Oth. There's a Tsevaoth. You know how they break up the words. I've got tools to learn language, Jewish language, the Hebrew. I've got tools. They're coming. They aren't here yet. I'm not inundated with it enough. But I think, what I have picked up so far, I think I'm doing all right. I think it's being given to me. Because every time I slow down and try to picture the word in my mind, which is how I used to be able to remember, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. There's, I would have to remember the spelling of it and then slowly pronunciate it. Now it's like, it's a lot more fluent coming out of me. And it still may not be perfect, I don't know, but it feels better. And I know I'm having Yahuwah's guidance, like, like closing that door, that double check door, so I can't see, and I gotta just roll it off my tongue, like form habit of it, which I don't want to do too much, because then the significance of it doesn't hit me. So, little tidbits about God's name to add to your treasure trove, if you haven't already. The legalities, the significance, the meaningfulness, my experience, what I've learned about ritual, about initiation, and all of that. The things that this guy does a really good job. Watch it if you're interested in learning more. I think it's very appropriate. I think it's very important, very vital. We don't act out of line, because Aaron's sons, they had a little few drinks before they went in, and they paid for it. The man thought he was being helpful, tried to stop the ark from falling over. He's dead. You know, somebody takes over, the ark's in their town, they all get the plague. They shouldn't even be near the ark. They have no right. And that's why they know where the ark is, and they cannot retrieve it. There is a special day, special time, special hour, and only specific people are going to be able to get that ark out of that cave. And it's prophesied that the mountain will crack and open up so that it can be retrieved. There's fire going to come out. A being is going to come out carrying it. That sort of thing. So, yes, the legalities are very important, and I didn't think I'd have to worry about that aspect, but then this guy, he said this prayer, and I was like, oh man, now I gotta worry about the legalities. It's just not my thing. Now it has to become my thing. So it shall be. So it shall be. I will remember, put the link to the video down below. Happy hunting. Happy digging. Tick, 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 tick. There's pearls in that sand. Tick, tick, tick.